Hi guys, ZCrazyG here, back with another CTR Nitro fueled video. Now today, I'm going to be talking about the future of CTR, but more so about the inevitability that any game will face when its cycle ends and it is no longer supported. And I want to discuss and theorize on when this will happen for CTR Nitro fueled. CTR is of course being maintained and supported post-launch via the monthly Grand Prix events, providing new characters, tracks, and customization features, but in the end, it can only last for so long. So it logically stands to reason that CTR support will most likely end when we stop receiving new Grand Prix events. So with that in mind, how many more Grand Prix can we expect? So let's take into account what we already know or have some information about, and most of this is due to Datamines courtesy of Beta M. We already know about the next upcoming Grand Prix, due to begin in February, in which we will see a Space Theme and Emperor Velo join the roster. Now, there are other pieces of information that would suggest at the very least one more Grand Prix after this. In the Rustland Grand Prix datamine, there was data that alluded to the inclusion of developer times for time trials, but this is nowhere to be seen in the most recent datamine. Surely if it was going to be added, then it would have been found amongst the data, so perhaps it's going to come in the future. Also with that is the code referring to driver who could I be, but with no other reference to this in the data mine, we could assume that this character is coming at a later date. Now, other than this, the biggest clue we have regarding to future Grand Prix actually comes from the Winter Festival data mine. If you remember, Beta M found code relating to at least 5 more Grand Prix lasting until May of this year. Now, with the Rustland Grand Prix and this upcoming Space Grand Prix, that could lead to 3 more Grand Prix, right? Now, having the cycle of content end in May, June time would fit the pattern of how Activision support games post-launch. With games like Call of Duty, they'll add content to the game for about a year after release, then occasionally add very small additions afterwards, only with a couple of exceptions. But then again, we have to keep in mind that despite what this datamine says, as we have learnt, nothing is set in stone. We cannot guarantee this to be a reality. True, it may have been the plan at the time, but things can always change. I also find it quite strange how we never received a roadmap for the first 3 Grand Prix of 2020 like we did for the others. Having a roadmap like this kinda signifies that they have a plan set out, so why don't we have one this time? However, from all this, despite what the datamines say, we still have no concrete idea of how long they intend to support the game for. The only people who truly know are not really Beenox, but rather Activision. Though Beenox are the developers of the game, Activision are the owners and the publishers. They will always have the final say in the end, and it is ultimately down to them whether or not the game is worth supporting to them. Because we do need to be realistic here, when looking at the grand scheme of things, CTR's player base has naturally dwindled over time. With each Grand Prix event, the game sees less and less active players, and though true there was a huge spike during the Winter Festival, that can be easily explained by an influx in Christmas sales, and since then the numbers have gone down. With a constantly dropping player base, they may not see the worth in investing money into supporting a game that less people are playing, and as a result they will start eventually moving developers onto other projects. As negative as that may sound, that is unfortunately the truth of how these things tend to work. So with all this in mind, what conclusion can we come to? Well, we don't really have any certainty. I do have a theory. The Rustland Grand Prix ends on the 16th of this month, with the Space Grand Prix starting on either the 20th or the 21st. That Grand Prix should then last until the 22nd of March, with another one beginning on the 26th of March. With that one then ending on the 26th of April, then with one more Grand Prix lasting from the 30th of April to the 31st of May. Technically ending the Grand Prix as the datamine said in May, and leaving 4 Grand Prix tracks that will be merged into one last single player cup. But really, that's just a loose theory. There is no honest way of telling how long these will last. The one thing that I will say with confidence is that the game will almost definitely not be supported beyond June of this year. At the very least, not with Grand Prix events. By that point, I feel the player base will have dropped to a significant amount that it will stop justifying new content, at least in Activision's eyes. And it would also fit their pattern of supporting a game for only a year after its release. Now, that's not to say that when the Grand Prix are over we couldn't see extra bits of content such as small additions like single carts or single characters being added. But when all is said and done, we can only wait and see, since there is no definitive information on when CTR will eventually stop being supported. And when that day comes around, it will be a shame, but it has to happen eventually. But even so, the game will always live on regardless of how it's left after the Grand Prix are over. So tell me guys, what do you think about all of this? How much longer do you think CTR's life cycle will last for? And how long do you hope it will last for? Do let me know in the comments below. And with that, thank you all so much for watching. It really does mean a lot. Feel free to like and subscribe if you feel like it, and I'll see you all in the next video. Take care, guys.